Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Hello, everybody. I'm the okayest bassist, and this is the Basics Volume 6. This is our live stream lesson series that we're doing. Um, had trouble again getting someone to confirm if they were going to be able to be here. Double checking to make sure. No, nobody has said that they'll be able to be here. I do show that we have two viewing, whoever you are. Hello, welcome. Turning on chat. Feel free to drop in a chat saying who you are. I know Bully does the where are you watching from. I'm going to do something different. How are you watching? You watching on computer, television, smartphone, tablet, Samsung refrigerator? What you got? So, this is our live stream lesson series, trying to do different things. It's geared toward. Thanks, Dino. Happy to know that it's working. This is where we do live stream lesson. It's geared towards beginners. So some of the topics are a bit more advanced. Some of the topics are a bit less advanced. Some are just a bunch of talking because I'm good at that. What we do have, pull up the lesson series here. We have some that are already spoken for. So today, I have found out over the last few minutes while trying to do it, I have found there is really not a way through the iPad that I can find for me to share a screen. I keep trying and it says unable to share screen because it's not supported. So that part's not working. What I do have is my iPad, and what I'm what I was hoping to do, but I can't share the screen. Ooh, there's a nice clang for everybody. Is do a general covering of something very simple, though very helpful, and that is to cover where the notes are on your neck, on your bass. This will be based on a four string, so keep that in mind. Those of you who play a five or a six, of course, you have additional strings, which means additional notes. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera. Well, I'll turn it, but I have to turn the iPad slightly. So, what you have here is basically how the notes are on the neck of a bass. So, you have your E string, E, A, D, G, your standard tuning on a four string bass. So, pushing in that first fret is going to give you an F. Third fret would be a G. And a common thing you'll notice is your fifth fret is also the same as your open string on the next string higher pitch. So a 5 for the first string is going to be nothing on the second. 5 on the second string is going to be 5, is going to be the open on the next string, so on and so forth. So if you were to maintain that pattern also, your next open string, if you go to a 5 string, is going to be a B. And that's also what you would get is an E if you fretted it on the 5th. So find one of these online, doesn't matter where you get it. This one just says it's from online bass courses. This is an easier one because some of them that you'll see are completely filled in. In this one's case, they're completely filled in, but they're sharps. But of course, every sharp has a corresponding flat. For example, F, one fret higher is an F sharp because it's a half step higher. However, F sharp is also G, one step down, which is a G flat. For the beginner, this is a heck of a lot easier for you to start with. You'll notice some things like B to C, there is no B sharp. There is no C flat. There's no E sharp or F flat. It's just one of the weird things with music is they're not all even. It's the same for those of you who are doing multiple instruments. It's the same as when you're looking at a piano, you have your C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, but F, and then just like your C, there is no C sharp, it's just a D. So what we're seeing here are the notes that you would play. For the beginner, I heavily recommend having one of these printed to start so that while you're playing a song, you would be able to look up that note if you're playing through and you're thinking, oh man, what is that? I don't remember where that one is. This is going to be a good reference. However, I recommend getting it out of sight as soon as possible based within your comfort zone. What I mean by that is don't always have the crutch, otherwise you might inhibit your ability to walk and or run in the future. Memorizing where these are. Now, again, I am not a professional by any stretch. I'm not even that good. But when we're looking at this, I remember the F through the A, and then A open, well, I guess E through A, and then A through D. Outside of that, I don't really worry about that much because you've got E, F, G, A, B, C, D, back to E. Those first two heaviest gauge strings within the first 5 frets each give you a full, basically a full octave that you'll be able to play. Those ones alone will give you basically any of the notes that you would need except for an E flat, which you could play on the 6th fret on the second string, or you can play on the 1st fret on the third. Those ones alone, if you memorize where those are, you will be able to hit at least the correct note for anything you're playing. Now, is that note going to be the correct pitch or the right height or lowering of that note? Are you going to be playing the exact correct note? Maybe not. For example, some songs are played on the bass in a higher register. Some are played on, like, heavy metal songs are usually on a down, sometimes are on a down tuned 5th string. So those notes, if you were to be playing in this range, are going to be a full octave higher. That's not going to be exactly what you want for the actual sound we're wanting out of that song. But the next thing to do, sorry about this, I didn't have it all put together and ready because I was hoping to share. There's another smack for everybody. Is the looking at tablature. So those individual notes will help you really well if you do, if you play along with, I've heard them called a master sheet. That's what this is. If it focuses, hello, there you go. So I type up all the songs for my church, so I had this on hand. The angle on it is still not great. Let me get the keyboard out of the way and swing this around a little more. There we go. So this is like a master sheet, a chord sheet, whatever you want to call it. This is what, like, the rhythm guitar we'll be looking at when I'm at church, but the bassist uses it as well. Plenty of songs have differentiated notes. For example, you might see something like E slash B flat, or F sharp minor slash A, something like that. The number or letter above the slash, the numerator, is the note that your rhythm section should be playing. It's more in tune to the melody, whereas anything under that slash is what your bass should be playing, as that is your root. Now, that's different based on each band and who's playing. For example, at my church, our bassist would prefer all of the instruments play the exact same thing, not differentiated harmony, note, root, melody. He wants the singers to sing the melody, and he wants the instruments to play, I guess, just the root. We don't do that because, of course, some songs call for way more than that. But, excuse me, when looking at this, this is going to show you what note you play and when, of course, on the beat. This is a pretty commonly well known gospel song, so if you know it, you would be able to follow along. But you would have your, hopefully, a drummer playing or something that's giving you your time, and it tells you when you're changing note. So on the most simple, you would have that you're playing E all the way through that first line. As soon as the next line would start, you'd switch to a B, playing it through until you get to the word C. Then you're going to change to an A, goes through until you get to the word C again, then you change to E. This is one of the most simple ways that I've seen to play with a band. Feasibly, using one of these chord sheets or master sheets, you would be able to play with a band even if you didn't know the song. If you have a good feel for rhythm and when the beat is happening, you should do pretty well being able to go, okay, I hear this song, it's in 4/4 time, it's in a standard time set, or is it in a swing time set? How are we doing it? And then you'll be able to hear, again, hopefully your drummer, and then you're just gonna go in sync with them and then be playing the notes on the beat as they come. One thing to note, some chord sheets will be set up, I have seen, because I have to make them too. I've seen people give them and they're made for a capo. I'll have an example of that here. So here's another song, Onward Christian Soldier. You can see this one has a capo 1 in place, and these are the chords relative to the capo. So in that case, you would have to make the mental note of, okay, they have the whole first fret fretted with a capo, and then they're playing a D. So what I would need to do then is turn around and change what I'm playing to. You can either mentally change the notes each. What I do whenever I've been given a capo sheet and I haven't the time to go in and change it, like I said, I type them all up, but I've been given sheets of paper before of, hey, we're changing to this song and it's capoed, so figure that out. You can capo a bass. Should you? I don't know. Whatever. It's your bass. You do what you want. You can capo a bass. It definitely works, and then you could play relative to that. However, if you simply know that a D being capoed is a, let's see, a D, an A flat goes to a G. So a D flat I think would go to a C. I'm probably wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. If I'm right, tell me in the comments. I would love to know. I'm pretty sure a D capoed is played as a C. So if that's the case, then what you would be playing is simply, the way I do it on a bass, if I'm given a capo chord, a chorded capo sheet, whatever you want to call it, I simply tell myself to play the right pattern, except to move my hand the one slot up. So that's how I do it. Your mileage may vary. My brain may be screwed up. I don't know. The last thing to discuss, again, I'd said it earlier, but then I got sidetracked with something else, is to look at tablature and or sheet music. So this, if it will focus a little bit here, focus that way. Come on, you can do it. Okay, so this is sheet music. It's really bright. I don't know why it's that bright. It should be clearer. But anyway, these are rests, by the way. They are not sevens. That kind of worked. So you can see there's a row of numbers with the note. This is, as it says here, Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. I think basically every bassist learns this first if they don't learn Smoke on the Water. So here you can see it's rests, and then it comes to a 5-3-0, rest, 0, rest, 0, longer rest, Why they have it nomenclatured like that, I don't know. And then 0003, 05, rest, 350. So that's the da da dun 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 da dun 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 dun. Normally, on pure tablature, you won't have any of this musical notation crap. You won't have a, oh, this is a 16th note with four, you might have 4/4 time. A lot of times they'll like here they listed the tuning. Sometimes you'll see it listed along the strings. Let's see if I go back and I simply go to bass tabs. There is how you'll usually get it, which again, I don't know if it's the camera, if it's me, what's going on. It does not like focusing on this, but you basically have the same thing. You have very blurry. I am very sorry. I can't share. I was going to try and print, and then my printer didn't want to work. If I get farther, it gets blurrier. If I get closer, can it focus? Focus. Finger? Oh, you started to. There we go. Oh, well, it worked for a little bit. Anyway, it gives you the same notes, but you'll see it's a lot less cluttered. It's not like it was earlier. You still have the 3500. Here they're actually just using spaces to try to convey to you timing. So 35000, 000305. Da da dun 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 da dun 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 dun. This is how you will usually see. Again, I'm sorry. This is awful. You shouldn't listen to me. I'm not even okay at this point. I'm bad at this point. Anyway, so when you're seeing. Hello. So when you are seeing the. Come on. There you go. When you're seeing tablature like that, it's usually just the lines, and then it's simply a number. That is corresponding to the actual fret. So the master sheet, the chord sheet, those are super handy if you need to play along with a band, with a group, what have you, especially if you haven't heard the song before, because then you're able to see exactly the note rather than getting the tablature. I have a hard time reading tabs on the fly, but I mean, at speed, tablature is going to be your note for note way of doing it. No one's going to put that you're supposed to play A G E E E E E E G E A. That I've never seen anyone put something like that. They would just put it in tablature. The tablature with the music notes is helpful if you can read music already. But if you can already read music, I'm probably not the person you need to be listening to, because you already know more about music than I do. You're already knowledgeable. If you're able to read music, at least you'll know where notes are placed and relative to each other. In this case, you are seeing notes. It's a tablature is a great tool for learning a song, especially if you're learning a song note for note, and then you're just regurgitating that memorized song while playing it with someone else. Chord sheets are good if you just need to know where you need to be. There are plenty of people better than me. Charles Bertu has one that he talks about of if you get a master sheet similar to the one I showed, you can go between the note that it says, for example, a G. You can pair it with one of the other notes within the scale of that letter. Typically the fifth, which I believe the fifth to a G is a D. I think it's D. It's usually one string higher pitch, 2 frets lower. That you can fill in more. Of course, you always have to serve the song. You don't want to just be up there going, look, I know music theory, I can throw all this stuff around. If it doesn't serve the song, then there's no point to doing it. The point of playing isn't to show off and say, look how amazing I am. If you're at a kid's party playing Row, Row, Row Your Boat, being able to play Megadeth's Holy Wars isn't going to play into account very much if the kids are trying to sing that song and are really happy about it. Serving yourself and not the song is just going to make you sound worse. Now, if you're a good player, people may be impressed. I'm not. So I follow what the music wants and needs as best I can. But tablature, learning the notes where they are in relation as far as the letter notes on your instrument is going to help you immensely. When I first started playing, I had to have the picture of the neck with each of the letters strewn about, so that when I looked and it was like, oh, okay, I remember G. G is the third fret on the first string. Okay, good. So if everything's in G, I'm great. Well, then when a song comes that's in B flat, oh no, I don't remember. I had to look at it all the time. As that got progressed, I practiced. I would practice songs without that sheet so that I had to think, okay, well, I remember where C is. So B flat, okay, B flat would be one different than that. Good. Okay, yeah, this is great. So it's one of those things. Not so much of you have to sit and legitimately practice at it. You could even just be sitting at work. You don't have to have a bass. You could literally sit down, draw some lines to be the strings, draw some lines sideways to be the frets, and then just kind of fill it out as you're going. Like, okay, I know G, I know C, here's D, this one's A. How much of it can you do throughout that whole thing? It's it's something that's a great foundation. There are other methodologies to this. I've heard of like the numbers system, which I believe just uses the scale based on the key of the song, which say the song's in G. From my understanding, which could be very wrong, but from my understanding, say the key is in G, that would be note number one. And then you have your scale. If you know how scales work, we've talked about it once before on here. We're supposed to eventually have someone who knows what they're talking about show up, and they're going to talk about scales and modes and all sorts of other stuff. But as far as G would go, it's your first note. It would go G, A, G, A, I think B flat, C, D. Then there's other notes. I don't remember what they are. Apologies, I'm not good. So you would go through that, and then each of the things in the number system would be like, okay, this song goes from 1 to 5 to 1 to 3 to 1 to 5 to 1 to 3. And then you just know you have to follow the shape of that scale. That confuses the heck out of me. If I have numbers involved, I want them to be the tablature. If I have letters involved, like some people will play chords on a bass. I don't understand it. I know how to play chords on a guitar because that's what I play more often at church as an acoustic guitar. I suspect the same chord shapes apply. I know power chords would apply, but as far as chords and stuff, that's another lesson someone will have to teach who's not me. But those three things that we talked about, the learning where the notes are on your neck for just individual one note, one string at a time, learning how to read a chord sheet and follow along. Go on YouTube, pull up a song, pull up a version that's slower if you want that, pull up a recorded version typically. Live versions can have their own timing changes and they might not follow the master chord sheet. So playing along with one of those with the chord sheet where just simply play in time. You don't even have to get fancy. You can just E, 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 D, D, D. Go through them as the song's going, follow the sheet. Once you're good with that, then start looking at the tablature. Find an easy song, Smoke on the Water, Iron Man, Another One Bites the Dust, what have you. And and then start seeing if you can play it in time while reading. Sight playing is an amazing skill. I do not have it. I cannot simply follow along with a string while playing in time. Um, I could manage if I had to, but it would not sound as good. I do better by either just simply playing along with the master sheet and just playing through that one chord in time, which is all you need to do, or memorizing the song. If it's a specific bass line, memorize the song and then just play along with it from memory. That's the ways I have to do it. But if you, again, one time more time of reiteration, just in case you weren't paying attention to any of the other 28 times that I've said it, learning where the notes are on your neck, learning how to play in time with that master sheet, just looking at the note that's needed and then playing it along with your, percussion, and then looking at tabs and either seeing if you can play in time while reading it, playing by sight, or if you can memorize sections or the whole song's worth of tabs and then playing that in time without having to look it up. It seems pretty well unanimous across the music community that the best thing to do is to learn songs by ear. I am sure that is correct, because if it sounds correct to you and you're playing it and it sounds like it's complementing the song, I'm not saying your notes are going to be exactly what the professional person who wrote that song expected the notes to be. But if what you're playing sounds good, then you are serving the song, and that's the ultimate goal, is to make the song good. However, I can't do that. I can't improv. I can't for the life of me figure out a specific key for a song. There are plenty of people who can. They hear a song, they go, "Oh, that sounds like Bully's done it plenty of times." Of, "Oh, I know how that song sounds," and then he'll start playing something that would sound right with the song. I can't do that. No, not me. If you tell me what key the song's in, I might be able to muddle my way through it, but without that information, I'm kind of stuck. But that's why I'm the okayest bassist. I can make my way, but not well. But I think as long as you go, that would be the lesson, the homework I would give you, is learn where the notes are, try to play along with something with a simple chord sheet, and then try to either sight play or memorize based on tablature some notes, and then see if you can play along with something. That is the general lesson for tonight. Again, apologies. I thought the iPad was going to share screen because it said that it could, but then I guess since it's an iPad, not a Mac, it can't. I was going to print stuff, so there wasn't a whole bunch of glare, and it was easier for it to focus. Yes, thumbs up. Ha, hooray. Printer wouldn't work, so I got to get that fixed now. But that is the lesson for today. If anybody who is viewing, it shows we've got 4 people. If anyone in the comments has questions or a different topic they would like discussed, I'll hang out here for a bit. If there are questions I can just immediately answer, I will. Otherwise, if anybody has a topic they would like to see covered, I'll take it down on my little note sheet here and see when I can get a another instructor, like a good one, in here, someone who's not me, so anybody good, and see if we can cover that topic for you. So I'll hang out here for a few more minutes in case we have anything pop into the chat. Let's see. Dino said early on that the audio sounds great. Yeah, I remembered to up the gain this time. Last time I forgot and left it at noon. It's where everything should always be. But I had it at noon. Now it's at like 3 o'clock. So we gained about 50% gain. So that helps. Just move down the fretboard and play the same shape. I am sure Dino knows what he's talking about when he says the same shape. Everything I see are straight lines, and they all make rectangles. So play the same rectangles is what I understand of that. Pastor Groove Bass, much, much better audio. Thank you. Yeah, I finally got the Scarlett little Focusrite Scarlett Solo. Uh, kind of wish I'd gone for the 2i2 just so I had that second input, because when I do the recording, I have to swap this microphone, which is their Scarlett condenser microphone, for my I think it's like a VXM or something. I got it cheap. There's a video coming out on it too. I currently have videos ready to come out every Wednesday. I think they come out at 3 Central, through December 18th. So this week and a couple more. But whenever I switch, I have to, I have the other cables all ran here the way I want them. So I have to unplug it and plug in a different XLR. It would have been nicer just to have paid, I think they're like 20 bucks more. Should have paid 20 bucks more for the interface so I could have two mics, just have the one muted, but it's fine. It's okay. The iPad probably would have been stupid with that because I had to go through and change a bunch of settings and combine the bass and microphone into one single feed so that it could hear both. Whatever. But yeah, thank you for the audio improvement notice, I guess. I don't know if it was a compliment, but it had an exclamation point, so it was excited anyway. Dino Dan, let me know when you want me to cover the sound check topic. Well, Dino Dan, I have that here in this list. But what I don't know is if you are in the group that I put together on Instagram for talking about it. So if I type in Dino Dan, I don't know which one you are. So if you send me a message through Instagram, I will get you added to the chat for the BASSics, and then we can get you in. We could get you in next Sunday, because nobody has RSVP'd for anything ever. I just basically send out a message Sunday sometime in the morning, and I go, hey, anybody available? And sometimes I get an answer. Sometimes I just get Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, darkness, my old friend. And I get the sound of silence. All I get is nothing. So we will see. But if nobody has any questions or topics they would like covered, I'll go ahead and sign this out. Shorter than the hour that I prefer to do, but as it was a very simple lesson and I couldn't get materials together, that's about all that there really is to do on it. So final Dino Dan smoking. Oh no. Surgeon General will be after you. Dino Dan helps if you know how to spell. Dino Dan smoking. Hey, that looks like you. Has a microphone that says Dino. Add. Add. Yes, add. There we go. Okay, so you should be in the chat now, Dino. That's cool. Now I have to figure out how to follow you. I'll figure that out someday. So anyway, that's what we have for today. As always, thank you guys for stopping by. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Oh, you're not gonna do it? You did the thumbs up. Yeah.